So hey, what's up guys, today I'm gonna solve physics MCQ Feb March 2021 and this is the code. So it will be in two parts. So in the first part I'm gonna solve around 20 to 25 questions, and the next part I will solve the remaining questions. And yeah guys, before starting the video, I want to know from which part of the world you are watching this video, and if you are watching from India, so I would also like to know from which state you are watching. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So the first question is pretty much easy. A student has a measuring cylinder containing water and also has a balance. So he has a weighing machine and a measuring cylinder with water in it. So and a weighing machine. So don't go by my drawing, I'm just trying to make you visualize things if you are not able to understand. Which of this could she use to find the volume of small metal sphere? She has no other apparatus. So the girl only has these two apparatus and she has a metal sphere like this, and she wants to find the volume of it. So this question is pretty much easy, that she will just need the measuring cylinder and not the weighing machine. So I'll just use a different color. Yeah, so what she will do, she will drop the sphere in the measuring cylinder like this. So this is the initial volume of the measuring cylinder, and when she drops the sphere in it, the volume will change and this will be the final volume. So when the volume will change, then she will subtract the final volume from the initial volume, then she will easily get the volume of the metal sphere. So the option will be the measuring cylinder containing water only, B1. I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to explain. So now let's move to the second question. A ball hits a bat with a velocity of 30 meters per second and leaves the bat traveling with a velocity of 20 meters per second in the opposite direction. The ball is in contact with the bat for 0.1 second. What is the magnitude of the acceleration of the ball while it is in contact with the bat? So here the scenario is in the contact with the bat. So this question again is pretty much easy. Some of you might just get alter over it, but yeah, let me explain you. You just have to find the acceleration, so just use the formula acceleration is equal to v minus u upon t, and yeah, there you go. Just put in the values and you will get the answer. So the initial velocity they have provided is 30 meters per second and the final velocity is 20 meters per second, but the thing is you have to focus on this opposite direction. So it has mentioned opposite direction, then you will have to add a negative sign to 20 meters per second, because if the bat is going from right to left, then they are trying to say that ball is going from left to right, so we have to add negative sign in it. So and t they have mentioned 0.1 second. If they would have given in minutes, then we would have to first convert this minutes into seconds, then we would get our answer. So this will be 50 divided by 0.1, which is equal to 500 meters per second square, and yeah, there is option D. There you go. So now let's move to the third question. The third question says that a train begins a journey from station A and travels 60 km from a station and travels 60 km in a time of 20 minutes. So they have given distance and time. What is the average speed of the train? So again, this is a very simple question. So first of all, you have to focus on the options. The options are given in meters per second units, and in question they have given us units in kilometer and minutes. So we have to convert kilometer to meter and minutes to seconds. So let me just erase this if in case you are getting distracted. Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, now let's convert kilometer to meter. I hope you know the conversion. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter. So 60 kilometer will be equal to 60 into 10 to the power 3 meter, and for minutes, 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds, so 20 minutes is equals to 1200 seconds. I hope my calculations are wrong, no, right? And now we simply have to use the formula average speed is equal to total distance upon total time taken, and the total distance is 60 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 1200, and if we cut two zeros it will be like this, and 12, and let us calculate it. 600 divided by 12, and the answer is 50. So yeah, we have an option 50. So C is our answer. So now let's move to the fourth question. Which statement about mass is correct? So we have to identify the correct statement. A mass of 10 kg weighs 1 Newton near the Earth's surface. Mass is a gravitational force. So this statement is obviously wrong because mass is constant everywhere and it is not at all dependent upon gravity or any other factor. So if your mass is, for example, 100 on Earth, so it will be same on Moon, Jupiter and all other various planets in the galaxy. Mass increases when the gravitational, no, again this is wrong. I told you mass is not dependent on anything, it is independent. The greater the mass of the body, the more it resists a change in its motion. So we have to now just verify between option A and D which one is correct. A mass of 10 kg weighs 1 Newton near the Earth's surface. So the formula is weight is equals to mg, and your m they have given mass as 10 and g we have to consider as 10. So 10 into 10 has to be 100 Newton. So option A is also incorrect. So now we are remaining with option D and that's a correct answer. So now let's move to the question number 5. I hope you guys are enjoying and able to understand things, and please drop a like and do comment down below that you are able to understand. So question 5 says this: a small bottle has a mass of 20 gram when empty. The volume of bottle is 10 centimeter cube. When full of liquid, the total mass is 150 gram. What is the density of the liquid? So here we have to simply identify the density. So they are just playing with numbers and nothing much. So first of all, whatever they are asking, just write that formula so there is a clear thought in your mind that how you are going to proceed with the question. So density is equal to mass upon volume, and again check the options, they are in gram per centimeter cube. So we also have to make sure that everything is in the same unit, and they have luckily given us everything in gram and centimeter cube. So the mass of the liquid will be 150 minus 20. I hope I don't have to explain you this thing because the already mass of the bottle is 20 gram, and when we'll pour the liquid in it, the mass of the overall bottle becomes 150 gram. So we have to subtract the mass of the bottle from the overall mass to get the mass of the liquid itself. I hope you are able to understand. And now we have to just do the simple math. 130 divided by 10, and this is 13 gram per centimeter cube, and here is our option C is the correct one. I hope you are not getting confused between all my workings. So now let's move to the next question. So first of all, let me just change this color. Yeah, an object of mass 0.8 kg is moving in a straight line at a velocity of 2 meter per second. A force is exerted on the object. So if the force will be exerted on the object, then the object will definitely accelerate in the direction of the motion. Okay, so it will definitely accelerate it. If they would have mentioned that in the opposite direction of the motion, then it would have been decelerating, but they have applied the force in the motion of that object, so it will be accelerating for a period of 1 minute, and the velocity of the object increases to 6 meters per second. The force exerted on the object. So again I told you over here they asked to find density. So first I wrote the formula so we know how to proceed. So now they are asked force. So whenever they are asking force in MCQs for physics especially, so usually you have to write this formula directly. This should come in your mind first. When I was in my 10th or 9th grade, I used to write this formula instantly so that everything was get some clarity. Okay, I hope my English is, I know I am just faltering somewhere, but please forgive me for that. So here they have asked to find force, so I am writing the formula force ka formula I am writing, and they have given everything over here. So now let's proceed with the question. So we need to find force. For that we must know mass and acceleration. So they have already given mass, which is 0.8 kg over here, and now we have to find acceleration, and they have given everything where we have to find acceleration. So acceleration formula is v minus u upon t, and the final velocity of that object is 6 meters per second, as you can see over here, 6, and the initial velocity where it was just in a straight line, moving in a straight line, was 2, and the force exerted was for 1 minute. So again there's a catch, we have to convert minutes to seconds. You have to do it because here they have given units in meters per second. I hope you are able to stay focused. Minutes को seconds में करना होगा. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. So boom, 40 divided by 60. So now you just have to put this value in this expression. So force is equal to 0.8 into 40 divided by 60, and your answer will be, let us just calculate it, 0.8 into, what was it, 4 divided by 60, 0.053. So here is your answer, 0.053, and yeah, option A will be your correct option. Now question number 7 says this, and this is a pretty much easy question, and in almost every MCQ it appears, so I will just give you the usual or standard method on how to approach this type of questions. An object moves at a constant speed in a circular path as shown. Which statement about acceleration of the object when it is in point P? So whenever there is a question of circular path, you have to consider a centripetal force, or just imagine yourself in a park and you have a string which is attached to a ball. So here is a string, and at the end there is a ball attached to it, and here you are holding it, sorry, this is your hand, and now you are just rotating it. So it will just rotate in a circular path, and you will be at the center of this circular path, and you are the one at the center applying the force of rotation. So every single thing is going to be regarding the center. That means the force applied will be towards center, and the acceleration will also be towards the center, and there is one arrow pointing at the center, which is Z or Z, whatever. So now option C will be the correct option. The acceleration is in the direction of arrow Z. So this is a very standard approach, and if you are not able to understand the concept which I tried to explain you, it's fine. Sometimes you don't have to understand it to gain marks. You just have to use this standard question, and within a seconds you will able to solve this question, and in your class you will become the hero. And after becoming the hero, just do comment down below that you became the hero in your class today. अगर आपको ये क्वेश्चन समझ में नहीं आया, कमेंट करना, मैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में वापस से समझाऊंगा. सो नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 8. एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज pivoted at point P. A student ties the length of string to a peg on the object. He pulls the string with force F. So everything is regarding this object P. So this is an object P, and a student ties the length of string to a peg on the object. He pulls the string with a force F. So the student has tied it over here. This is a peg, and now he is pulling that object with force F. So what are we supposed to find? What is the moment of the force F about the point P? So again I told you they have asked something, so now write the formula of it. Moment is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So now we simply have to just use this formula and the data given over here, and boom, there you go, you will get the answer. So force they have given as F, and the perpendicular distance from P is S. As you can see over here, we can see there is a right angle forming over here, so F cross S, and yeah, there you go, your option C is the correct one. I hope you are able to understand stuff. You just have to use the formula and just substitute the values, and yeah, boom, there you go, you will get your answer. So let's move to the question number 9. A gas molecule strikes the wall of a container. The molecule rebounds with the same speed. Okay, so there is no loss of energy because the molecule is rebounding with the same speed. So yeah, I won't say a fun fact, but yeah, fact. And now what they have asked further is what happens to the kinetic energy and what happens to the momentum of the molecule. See guys, I didn't even read the question, and we have already solved half of the question, because I just said the energy will be conserved, so the kinetic energy won't change at all. So option A and option B are already eliminated, and 50% of your work is done over here. So if you develop this skill of by just reading the question and able to understand the concept by just few keywords over here, the keywords was with the same speed, so उससे तुम्हारा आधा से आधा काम हो जाएगा. And now let's check the momentum. So the formula for momentum, again you have to write the formula is mass into velocity, and we have to make sure that don't get confused between mass and speed, velocity and speed. अगर आप लोग इधर speed consider करोगे, so आप option D mark करके आओगे, and that will be a biggest mistake in your life, because velocity has magnitude and direction, and over here the direction of the gas molecule is changing. Here it was going to right, and now after bouncing it is going to left. So the velocity will change, and hence we can say the potential, the momentum is gonna change. So option C is correct. So for momentum, we will take this as momentum 1 will be mass into velocity, and over here we will take velocity as negative because it is going the opposite direction. So momentum 2 will be mass into negative velocity. So here you can see momentum 1 is not equal to momentum 2. I hope you guys are able to understand. So question number 10 says a horizontal force pulls a box along a horizontal surface. The box gains 30 joules of kinetic energy and 10 joules of thermal energy, which is produced by the friction between the box and the surface. So there is some friction happening over here. I can see how much work is done by the force. So again my trick apply करो and जिंदगी मस्त हो जाएगी. So work done is equals to force into displacement, and over here they have given the box gain 30 joules of kinetic energy and 10 joules of thermal energy is produced by the friction between the box and the surface. Okay. So over here I guess we won't be able to use this formula because they haven't mentioned anything regarding displacement. So for time being we have to just ignore it. And now you will say, brother, you told us to use this trick, it will work forever and all that thing. But you also have to see the question. I was in a little bit hurry and I did consider that they haven't given the displacement, so I just blindly wrote the formula. And yeah, you have to learn from my mistakes as well. So now we have to find the work done, and we know that the units of work done is in joules, and here both the energies and thermal energy are in joules. So we just simply have to add kinetic energy and thermal energy to get the work done. So it's just simple addition which we have learnt in first grade. So the answer is 40 joules. I hope you guys are able to understand. Question number 11 says a crane is used to lift loads vertically. The output power of the crane to lift a car is P. The crane then lifts a lorry which has 3 times the weight of the car through 0.25 of the distance in 0.5. So displacement is 0.25 and they have given time. इतने टाइम में इसने इतना डिस्टेंस तक वो लॉरी को उठाया. What is the output power of the crane now? So again my method comes over here. They have asked to find power, output power. So the formula for power is energy upon time, and this energy can be anything, kinetic energy and gravitational energy. So here it will definitely be gravitational energy because they are lifting it, so the height is changing, and upon time definitely. So let us consider the mass of the car and lorry. इसका mass we will take m and इसका mass we will take 3m, and now let's just substitute everything and get our answer. And they have also secretly given us every detail for time and distance for both car and lorry. For once I also got into that trap, so now I'm going to explain where they have mentioned it. So they have given the crane then lifts a lorry which has 3 times the weight of the car. So now they are comparing the weight of the car and lorry through 0.25 of the distance, and they haven't mentioned of the car, but this directly means that they are comparing again the distance traveled with the car and in 0.25 of the time. So just make a note of this. Whenever you see of the then you have to understand that they are comparing one thing with another, A with B, car with lorry, like that. So now that if time taken to lift the car is T, then time taken to lift the lorry will be T by 2 because they have given 0.5 of the time. And if the distance traveled by car is h, then the distance traveled by the lorry will be h into 25 by 100. And now we directly have to use the formula. So P is equals to, they have already given the power of the car, so we will first write that power is equal to energy is equal to m into g into h, because we are gonna use mgh over here because gravitational potential energy is equal to mgh upon time, and divided by time is t. So this is the formula for power and this is the power for the car, and now we have to find power for the lorry. So for this we will just take PL for power for the lorry, and we will just multiply 3m, cause the mass of the lorry is thrice as the mass of the car, into G is constant, H is not constant, which is H into 0.25, and divided by time is T by 2. So now we have to just simplify it. So now let us simplify. This 2 will go from denominator to the numerator, and it will just get multiplied over here. 3m into G into H into 1 by 4. We can write 0.25 as 1 by 4. So let me just prove it to you guys. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, as you can see over here. So now we will just do manipulation again. So 2 1s are 2 2s are, and 3 mgh by 2t. And yeah guys, I forgot to write t over here, so sorry for that. And now we have got the formula which exactly looks like the power over here. So now we'll just write it. PL is equals to 3 by 2 mgh into t. So I am writing in brackets to make it clear for you, and this will be 3 by 2 into p, cause power is equal to mgh into t. And your answer is, yeah, B is the correct answer. I hope you guys didn't got confused. If in case you got confused, just rewind it, and again if you are not able to understand, I will explain it again in the next part. So don't worry, my babies. Sorry, you are not babies, my friends. The diagram shows a manometer connected to a gas supply. What is the pressure of the gas supply? So for this you just have to know how to read the manometer, and yeah, boom, there you go. There is nothing to explain much, but yeah, I will try to explain as much as I can. So now they are mentioned in the options. I just checked the options above and below, so some of the students might get confused. So now let me explain it clearly, and this might take a time for some. If some of the students can understand the question easily, so they can just skip this part, but I am just doing it for other students who aren't able to understand it properly. So now let's consider this as the manometer, and now we aren't applying any gas supply or any sort of pressure. So now it is under standard pressure, which is atmospheric pressure. So from both the side atmospheric pressure is being applied, so it will be on the same level. Let me draw the scale as well. So over here the level of left and right will be same. So now when we apply a gas which has higher pressure than atmospheric pressure, then we will get something like this. And when we apply a gas pressure जिसका pressure is lower than the pressure of the atmospheric pressure, then we will get the structure something like this. Wait, let me draw it again. I hope you are able to understand what I am trying to convey. Like, English is not my first language, but I am still trying my hard. So now we are applied a gas pressure P gas, and consider this pressure gas lesser than ATM, यानी कि atmospheric pressure. And here we can see, cause this is the standard diagram for pressure of gas greater than PATM. So अगर आपको ये समझ में आ गया, so then you can easily eliminate below वाले options, but I am still gonna explain it. So if the pressure is lesser than PATM, so your PATM will be there, and your pressure of gas is lesser, so PATM will be greater, so it will press more and compress more, and it will just rise from left side, and from right side it will get lower. And on this case it is getting ulta, like it is getting compressed from left side and rising from right side, cause the pressure of the atmosphere is less, and this gas ka pressure is greater than pressure of atmosphere. That's why it is compressing and it is able to rise this side. I hope you guys are able to understand. I'm not making it over complicated, I'm trying to simplify it. So now let me just erase all this stuff, and now you simply have to do the normal calculations which your teachers might have told you how to calculate it. Just extend it and now calculate this difference, which is 300 minus 100, which is equal to 200 mg. mmHg, sorry, and the option will be 200 mmHg above the atmospheric pressure, cause I just said this is the standard diagram when pressure of gas is greater than atmospheric pressure, and when pressure of gas is lesser than atmospheric pressure, then you will get a diagram like this. So if you didn't understood the concept, you can just rectify this diagram. Your pressure of gas and your PATM. Yeah, I guess I've made it more complicated, but नहीं समझ में आया, do comment down below. Next part is always there for you. The diagram shows dimensions I've given, so we can just calculate the volume. The box rests on a flat horizontal surface. On which phase must the box rest in order to exert the least pressure? So first of all, let us write the formula for pressure in this scenario. Pressure is equal to force upon area. So they have asked for least pressure. So least pressure होने के लिए force has to be minimum and area has to be maximum. But over here the force will be constant cause the weight of the box will not change if we just keep it like this or like this or on in any other way. So the force will be constant. The formula for force, I hope you know that force is equal to mg, cause weight is also a force, that's why I am saying force will be constant. So now we will only depend on area. So area has to be maximum for least pressure, so pressure will be equal to force upon A max, and area will be maximum when we keep it on x side. So now option A will be the correct option. I hope you are able to understand some simple things. So now let me just calculate area of x to make it more easier. 6 into 8, which is equal to 48. Area of y will be, what will be 4 into 6 will be equal to 24, and area of z will be 8 into 4, which is equal to 32. So here you can clearly see that area of x is maximum, therefore option A will be correct. Just use this formula, just use simple multiplication, and boom, you will get your answer. 14. Air in a sealed syringe is slowly compressed by moving the piston. The temperature of the air stays the same. So temperature is constant, volume is decreasing. Which statement about the air is correct? And pressure will increase cause pressure is inversely proportional to volume. I hope you know this relation. If you don't, then just कर लो यार, ये तो common है. The pressure of the air decreases, wrong. The pressure will increase cause volume is decreasing. The pressure of the air decreases, wrong. Pressure will increase, I told you. The pressure of the air increases because its molecule now hit the syringe walls more frequently. Yeah, this can possibly be the right answer. The pressure of the air increases because its molecule now travel more quickly. So the option D will be correct. Incorrect. It would have been correct if they would have mentioned that the temperature of the syringe is also increasing, but their temperature is constant, so the energy supplied to the, so yeah, I was saying that the temperature is constant, so the energy of the gas molecules will also be constant. So option D will be incorrect, and yeah, there you go, option C is the correct option. So 15 will be our last question, unfortunately, and I will cover the rest in our next part. In an experiment, smoke particles are suspended in air and viewed through a microscope. So are they trying to check Brownian motion? I mean, I have not read the question, I'm just assuming. Smoke particles move about with short random movements. Okay, random आ गया, मतलब Brownian motion की बात होगी. Which of the following statement is correct? Air particles have large masses compared to smoke particles and they move in one direction only. Which of the following statements is correct? The smoke particles move about with short random movements. Okay. Air particles have large masses compared to smoke particles and they move in a random directions. Air particles move at high speed compared to smoke particles and they move in one direction only. Air particles move at high speeds compared to smoke particles and they move in random directions. So option D is correct because air particles are lighter in weight, so they will move faster and their movement is random, as we know the basics from 5th grade. So yeah guys, that was for today's video. I hope you are able to understand, and if you have any question, any doubts in any of the question number, for example 10, 11, 12, just drop in the comment and I will be there for you in the next part. I know my English is a bit weird but I will try to improvise on that as well. Till then, bye bye and sayonara.